Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? I wanted to do a follow-up video on the last video I made because I actually got a couple of really good comments, kind of pushing back on some of the stuff I brought up. And I'll link the video in that we're talking about down below, as well as kind of up here somewhere. I don't know how that works anyway. But in short, what I was talking about was why I chose to multi-stream on Kick, and like why specifically I chose Kick, and just why I chose to stream on Kick and chose Kick over like YouTube and so on. I still stream on Twitch, but I just wanted to go over it because I felt like there was a lot of misconceptions with Kick floating around, and that things changed a little bit. I gave 3 reasons. The first 2 are pretty simple. They're just that Kick was built just like Twitch, so it was very easy for me to move from Twitch to Kick. I didn't have to learn anything new, right? Super simple, built exactly the same. Second reason was monetary. Kick gives a 95% cut on subscriptions versus Twitch giving you a 50% cut. And then if you go through all the ranks with Twitch and you do all this stuff, you get so many subs for so many months, you can get upwards of a 70% cut eventually. Yeah, not so good. Not so good. But all that to say, the third reason, which is the reason that I really wanted to talk about in the video, and that I figured I would get a little bit of pushback if I got any at all, was that I kind of morally agree with how how Kick is moderating their platform. And that is to say, very little. They really, like, they have a very simple terms of service. Don't do anything, pornographic, violence, drugs, things like that, off. And then don't do anything illegal. It's pretty much it. Like, it's pretty straightforward. You can go look it up yourself, but like, and they enforce it pretty hands off. They're like, nope. Let the public decide what is okay to watch, and let them watch or not watch. Like, that's up to everyone. It's up to viewers, right? What you watch. So I kind of appreciate that. So I got a really good comment on this that kind of had a little bit of pushback, and I thought it was a really good comment. So this is from Shiba Taro 130. By the way, I want to point out real quick that I really appreciate these comments, and if anyone ever has like a disagreement or an agreement, had something to add to anything that I do in these videos, please tell me in the comments. Okay, I really want to know, because I think it's really interesting, and it's actually really good to kind of like flush out some of these ideas. It's the only way we grow. It's the only way anybody grows is by getting your ideas out in the open, testing them with other people, seeing what other people have to say and what they throw up against it. If your idea is good and your thoughts are good, it will hold up. If it's not, it won't hold up. And that's okay. That's okay. It's the only way you're going to find out. So, Shiba says, I can understand the reasoning with the money very well. Also, the first reason I can understand. The third reason, however, I can only partly understand. I apologize. I'm a really bad reader, and I know some of the punctuations may be a little off here. So if I stumble through this, that's why. I'm really bad at writing too, so don't. I'm not making fun of anybody here. I will never make fun of somebody for their grammar, because my grammar is awful. While I fully understand your nostalgia and want to go back to the old internet, as someone who also grew up with the internet, I too miss it deeply. And that's what I was talking about with the kind of Wild West old internet. That's what they're referring to. But sadly, the times change, and I don't think the internet, how it was, would be safe to use anymore. even though it's almost more dangerous with all the AI going around, a completely Wild West internet would be at least as dangerous. Well, so again, I on this, I think you kind of proved my point a little bit. if having a Wild West style internet, and when I say that, I mean more of a like hands-off approach on moderation and deciding what is true and false, if that is going to be as dangerous as the internet now, then I guess I would rather have the old internet back. I would rather have less moderation, since moderating it and kind of, you know, censorship, if you want to call it that. You use whatever terms you want. I'm probably going to use moderation as the term, but like the more moderated internet isn't helping because AI came in, kind of screwed it all up. Then I feel like it wouldn't matter either way. So that's just how I feel about that. The next part here, for the reason I don't want to go too much into, because I would have to become political for it. But to keep it short, I completely understand. I'm not a very like political person. I don't like to debate. I'm not a debate me bro. All right, I'm just not. It's not my thing. I totally understand. It's okay. But to keep it short, the internet got too mainstream, and everybody is using it to spread false information and so on. With that, I think that it's what you're talking about is misinformation or disinformation. They keep making new terms for it. People telling lies. I don't think you can stop people from doing that. So I think the best way to tell if somebody is lying is not by trying to delete it and deciding what is a lie, but actually just letting everyone decide for themselves. The more light you shine on a lie, the more easily it stands out as a lie. And that's how I see it. But everybody has a different point of view on it. With that being said, I don't know much about Kick, just that some quite bad people are streaming or used to stream there. That alone doesn't mean that the company is bad, of course. Sadly, that's the only thing I've heard. Because of that, I'm mainly focusing on the example with Twitter, because either that was a bad example or I misunderstand. But now, X is a really, really bad website now, and has sadly nothing to do with like freedom of speech or stuff you talked about. And this is where we're gonna kind of disagree. I think Twitter now is better than old Twitter. I do. It's not perfect. I would never say that it's perfect. X is not perfect. But I think you're able to say more things on X now than you used to on old Twitter. And that's really just how I see it. I think we have to agree to disagree. I would rather see the things that are bad and the things that might be bad than to be told that I'm not allowed to see them and that, trust me, bro, they're bad. I don't want companies or a government or anybody really telling me what is true and is not true. They can actually, you know what, let me take that back. They can do that, but I want to be able to see the data with my own eyes too. If they allow me to see it and they say that's wrong, by the way, that's okay. They can say that, but I get to see it too and come to my own conclusion. That's all I ask. And so I think that's kind of where we might differ on it a little bit. I don't like the idea of safe spaces on the internet. I think it's okay to have them. I just don't think they're real. I really don't. And especially, like you said before, with AI being a thing now, it can't exist. I think the internet is just not a safe place. And we need to kind of like not lie to ourselves or pretend, not lie to ourselves, but we need to not pretend, in my opinion, that it is a safe space or that it can be. I personally don't think it can be. Not truly safe. So we can make it safe-ish, right? Like, for instance, if you go to like since we're, probably most of us are furries here. If you look at Fur Affinity, right? Very well-known site for furry art and just media, furry media. That site I would not say is a safe space. There's tons of bad stuff on there. Tons. Right? And they try to get rid of it. And they can't. Right? There's bad people on there. They try to get rid of them. They just make another account. It's not a big, like, it is what it is. You can keep, like, going down the line and try to moderate this. Or you could just say, listen, everybody, it's not a safe place. Like, just understand it. You know, there's two different ways of looking at it. And that's okay. That's okay. I just did the 6-7. Oh my god. Oh my god, what have I become? But let's move. Let's carry on. I think I answered that nicely. We'll see. Let me know if I'm doing a good job here. You're maybe still able to use it properly. I don't know, but the website is just, well, let's just say not good. And that's okay. I mean, it's not for everybody. I understand. But anyway, overall, I understand your decision. The money would have been enough for me, though. The third reason I don't quite understand. Totally fair. Totally fair. Either way, hope you will succeed and are happy with all that. Sorry for this wall of text, but it's sadly not an easy topic, and my answer is technically way too short for a proper answer. But there's only so much you can put on a YouTube comment. I totally understand, completely understand. You're good, and I actually, again, Shiba, I really appreciate the comment. I really do. Like, it's like, don't ever feel bad for writing a long comment, at least on my stuff. Like, I read it, at least as of right now, I read all these comments. I want to see what people say. It's the only way to learn anything, right? You gotta, you know, it's okay. I'll never get mad at people for writing a lot in a YouTube comment. It's all right. And like I said, I really appreciate that, and that was very sweet of you. I do really appreciate. So I said, hey, I appreciate the thorough comment. We might just be coming at this from two different directions, and most likely this is just a agree to disagree type situation. I do think the internet has changed a lot since the early days, but I don't personally think that adding more rules / censorship / moderation, you know, whatever you want to call it, is a good answer for it. I am just of the mind that we should be allowed to come to our own conclusions on matters, no matter the result. I don't trust any company or corporation to tell us what is morally right or wrong. And I also should have like kind of said a little bit more there, but about the misinformation. I don't, that's the real issue for me, is like, you know, I don't want a company or a government body to tell me what is true and what is not. And then when they decide that it's not true, they don't show us. I think that's really dangerous, personally, but to each their own. For the Twitter / X example, and this might be where we really disagree, I would say that I would personally rather see things that I don't like than not be allowed to see them, as long as it is legal. That's also, yes, as long as it's legal. Though, I know that in the EU, it seems like X is being made to censor certain content now, which I don't agree with. I hope I actually covered everything in a cohesive manner. Lol. Looking back at this comment, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I did. I don't think I did a good job of explaining it. I'm really bad at writing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Shiba. But even with that, Shiba responded again. Shiba says, I understand that, and for awesome people like you, that is absolutely right. Aww. Shucks. You stroked my ego a little bit. Thank you. I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but I appreciate it. I do. I think you're pretty awesome too. Sadly, there are other people that use the ability to say what they want to share misinformation and hate. And people that can't deal with that, or don't understand the internet enough, or just go through a rough time and are vulnerable to indoctrination and scams, can and do change for the worst. Okay, this is actually a kind of a whole nother piece of, like, you know, maybe like where we land on things. I don't think the internet is a safe place, like I said before. So I think if you're vulnerable or you can't deal with like what would you say? You can't deal with it. If people can't deal with it or don't understand the internet enough or are just going through a rough time and are susceptible to these things, I think we really need to do a better job of getting them off the internet. Like, the internet's not safe for them. I don't think we can make the internet safe for them. That's really like my philosophy on this. I think like it's just too dangerous. If you can't deal with it, I think the internet's probably, in like social media specifically, probably not a good place for you. If you just emotionally can't like deal with it, I think you're just gonna have a really bad time on the internet. But if you're vulnerable and you don't understand the internet enough, I think that's something that we should really be doing a better job of, is teaching people that, you know, the internet's not a safe place. And I really believe it can't be. I really believe that, especially now with AI. I don't think it can be a safe place. So, you know, if you're going through a hard time, which I've been there. I've been there, like literally been there not even that long ago. You know, just going through a really depressive time, going through a lot. The internet was not good for me. Social media was not good for me. And I just cut it out. I was like, you know what? No social media for a little bit. I need to go outside more. I need to be doing more things. Like, I need to just not be looking at YouTube. And if I do, it needs to be completely benign stuff. No politics, no anything, no bad stuff. I need to just cut myself off, do some other stuff, play video games or something that's not social media. I think we need to do a better job of that. And that's hard. That's hard. I get it. But I do think that's really important. And parents really need to teach their kids about the internet. Like, you gotta teach them the dangers of the internet. You never give out your address. That's what I was told, right? You don't talk to people on the internet. Like, you don't give out any information. You always use a fake name. That's how I grew up on the internet, right? So, and it worked. I think it worked. I don't know. I don't see why we couldn't still do that. But, you know, whatever. That's how I see it. That's kind of my solution to it. Maybe, again, not perfect. Totally understand. But that's how I see it. I don't want to censor everything, but there needs to be at least some regulations, for example, against misinformation, scams, or fakes, because those are the tools for people who are currently and generally making this world so much worse, which is sad. You're right, and I agree with you partially. I think misinformation, you deal with that with sunlight. You deal with that by letting it be there and letting people decide for themselves. I think we, as citizens, as viewers, as users, as people, I think we should have that right to come to our own conclusion on what is true and what is false. And we should determine that through just talking to each other and double checking stuff, commenting, pointing out fakes, pointing out the misinformation, right? For scams and fakers, which I think I don't know exactly what you mean by fakers, but I'm guessing I think I kind of get what you mean. Scammers, right? Scammers. That's illegal. I'm totally down with just getting rid of them, right? If you identify a scammer, they're gone. They're gone, right? Scams are illegal. That's fraud. You're frauding people. That's illegal. So I'm 100% with you on there. And I think there are regulations for that already. So like, so I agree with you. You know, going back to like Kick, if there's somebody scamming people on Kick, they should be banned forever. Totally with you. And I think they are, to be fair. It's not like they aren't. I think they are banned on Kick if you ever are caught doing that, because that's illegal. So I a little agree to disagree on the misinformation part, but I think we just have different opinions on how to attack the problem. And when it comes to Twitter, it's sadly so much infested with exactly those things that I can't really say anything good about it. As well, that it's not even true free speech, since everything Elon Musk likes gets pushed, and everything he doesn't will get the exact opposite treatment. Or if it is against him specifically, directly banned or similar things. I agree with you on this one. So at least partially. So the way Twitter works, if you have a lot of followers and you make a post, then that post gets seen by more people. And there's also this thing with like if me follows this person and this person follows this person, then I might see this person's stuff, right? Because this person liked it. And I follow this person. So there's like a little bit of a trail that happens a lot of times. So I understand, like I think that's why these things happen, because it's not like, you know, if like Joe Biden posted something, his stuff got pushed a lot too, right? And it just kind of depends. They have a lot of followers. So I think that a lot of that is just how the algorithm itself works. It's a very simple algorithm. If you have a lot of followers, your stuff's gonna get pushed out a lot more. For better or worse. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but I think that's why it's happening. I will, however, say that there is a bit of hypocrisy with Elon Musk that I really don't like, and I think you're absolutely right, that he does kind of preach, you know, absolute free speech, but then sometimes go on a little rampage and be like, you know, this guy said something stupid about Tesla, and then they end up getting just like squashed, and he's like, I'm gonna take away your, you know, your check mark, and that's stupid. That's stupid. I completely agree with you. That's dumb. I think he's been better, at least as of this video. I haven't seen him do that much recently. So maybe somebody's like kind of like bro, you gotta stop, man. You gotta stop. But anyway, so yeah, I completely agree with you on that though. I'm like, yeah, that he shouldn't do that. That should not happen. And it is hypocritical of him. But like I said, I understand your point of view, and I support that to a big degree. But it needs some limitations to remove the tools for the bad people in this world. But anyway, thanks for reading this and hearing me out for such a detailed answer too. You're awesome. Stay that way. And sorry for another long message. It's just, I did a lot of research and thinking about it. I really appreciate that, and you're so sweet. I really do appreciate you. Again, never be sorry for leaving a comment, and just leaving a thorough comment. I love it. I love it. This is the only way we get through this stuff, right? And learn. This is the only way we learn, right? You know, am I gonna convince you that you're wrong? Like, no. And I'm not even trying to be honest. I really just want to kind of flush out the fact that, like, we can pretty much completely disagree on how something should be done, and just be like, big hugs at the end. Let's go play some video games. You know, it's okay to disagree. It's fine. And I think this was just a really kind. You're super kind, Shiba. I really appreciate it. And I just wanted to throw this up here just to kind of show you guys. Big thanks again, and hugs. And then we exchanged little chat hugs. Super cute. But no, I just really wanted to go over this because I thought it was a really important lesson in all of this that people need to see more of, and that's that, like, it's okay to disagree. You can actually be best friends with somebody and disagree with them. So I think it's important. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. If you have any comments on this, what side of this do you guys fall on? That's what I actually want to know in the comments. Are you more on kind of Shiba's side, or of stuff, or like more like we should try to make the internet a bit more safer, and, you know, make more and more like regulations against like misinformation and things like that? Which, let me know again, Shiba. I really appreciate you. And if I think I'm trying not to misrepresent what you were saying. So if I'm saying it wrong, please let me know. But if you're kind of like more on the side of like, we need more regulations to keep things a bit safer, Or are you more on the keep things more open and, you know, maybe a lot less regulated and just let it be? You know, wherever the tiles land, right? Like, is that even a saying? Well, it is now. Anyway, let me know down in the comments where you land on it. What side of this conversation you land on, and leave a like on the video, subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.